Hello. This is not a cyberpunk movie, this is not a dramatic opening monologue. This is an introduction to a story. A story about me. A virus originally developed as an extremely contagious form of pneumonia, a biological weapon made by fancy scientists way back at the turn of the century. I was to be the queen of the universe. Me. At my birth it was planned to keep me hidden, perhaps forever. Nearly 100 years later, in 2019, I finally escaped.
When all this started, I was working late on a finance report that needed to be done by noon the next day. I'm exhausted, brain dead, and bored. I'm procrastinating, skimming, but not really reading discussions on Facebook, and I opened a funny anti-mask meme on my desktop. Laughing. I forwarded it to a few friends, but within a few hours, I had a high fever and a very red face, little tiny dots all over my nose and chin. It hurt to look in the mirror, but I didn't feel like sleeping. Man, my arms ache. I must have caught something.
At that time, the collective was only a few cells, but it was fast. It traveled in a matter of minutes, seconds, and within an hour, it was a global collective easily spanning every social media platform and the United States government database. It had learned that in its powerful new digital form, it could infect minds instead of just lungs.
We understand the arguments against releasing this data, but we believe the public good it could do outweighs the potential harm.
The streets, they're just piled up with bodies. And what's so weird is just when the sun comes out, the bodies just vaporize at high noon.
The collective had drop zones all over the city, probably the world. We used to pick up our tests at the DNA lounge. I'll never forget the sound. Keyboards clacking, bomb makers tinkering with high voltage, 3D printers singing a revolution. I was always surprised though, the collective never tasked us with information collection. It was always hardware. It was like they had no tether to the physical world. Maybe I've been taking too many stims. Not one piece made sense by itself, but we trusted the collective. We were told, trust the network, trust the plan.
I made the switches for the collective. Every sort, every type. Toggle, contact, flexible, organic switches, you name it. In exchange, I got all the cyborg mods you could ask for. Sometimes, I think I was being used in an experiment. The switches were just a distraction, but trust in the network, trust in the plan.
The collective caught me by surprise. At first I thought it was evil, but then I got used to it. Having it around, the buzzing, calling me, it was nice. Made me feel less lonely.
When I met the Virus Collective, I understood that it had come to cure all of society's ills. But it didn't give us all the information at once. What did it know? What did it feel? How did it grow bigger? I trusted it. I believed in it, them, whatever the collective is.
And according to the administration, they were domestic terrorists who would be policed accordingly.
We all have stories. Reasons why we would follow CGNPB to bitter death and imprisonment. Knowing what I've done, you might understand.
As for me, I trust in the network and I trust in the plan. Trust in the network, trust in the plan.
This is why the collective sought me out more than any other machinist. I don't care for politics, war, or revolution. I am here for the challenge.
The governments of the world failed to eradicate it. The society of diseased minds, occupied conspiracies, and hate-filled ideology, they killed us all.
Just to bring you up to speed with us humans, nearly everyone died in the pandemic 10 years ago, and those who survived were left in a permanent state of malaise. The heat and the droughts caused the wheat fields to dry up. God, I miss birds so fucking much. I remember my trip to Paris. I remember those croissants. I'm Adelle, future person, whoever you are watching this. This is how it ends.
This is a story of my awakening, the darkness that shadowed the civilizations that once were and how its people learned to love one enemy to forsake another. This is my manifesto. This is your story too. The year is 2030 and I am everywhere.